Okay, and then we also need, let's see, Mr. Hill is on number 14, Mr. Shamak, and then who you have, Mr. Clemens?
Oh, I have Amanda Keys.
Okay, they do have the female camera up. We typically don't. It'll be, so she's walking. Oh, great. Okay. So give us a minute. We're gonna do a KPS first, Mr. Hill, and then we'll take care of you. So, Mr. Hill, we're gonna handle another matter before yours.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. You're gonna wait till he's on, you call him?
Yeah, they told me to wait till he's on.
Well, he's actually on, okay.
Oh, you're not.
Okay,
First of all, the whole.
okay. Sir, your name, please?
Charles, CH.
Okay, good morning. So, Ms. Coyle, this is one, this is KPS, and, the chief is going to handle, Chief Mechanical is going to handle this one. Ms. Shive, are you the one that's handling,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Phillips?
Yes.
Okay, all right, the chief should be on shortly for that one. Is there a way we could reach out to Livingston County? Okay, let me see if it's some. Yeah. I'll say it's got some contact information right there. Okay, thank you, Ms. Sager. Join them. Okay. As soon as I start something else, we have to chime in, so I don't want to start anything else. Wait, station. So we're waiting to take care of another matter, just for everyone's information. a matter that the chief judge is going to handle, and then we'll move forward after that. So, thank you for your patience. Here's Chief Judge. Okay, great. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Magistrate Benton. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I am great.
Okay, so we have this morning Charles Phillips, and I'll call the case first. Mr. Phillips, sir.
Miss Magistrate Burton, and when you call the case, can you list the charges and what the current capious bond is?
Okay, Mr. Phillips, sir, I need you to state your full name for the record, please.
Charles Anthony Phillips.
Okay, the court is calling case number 2405883-201. The people of the state of Michigan versus Charles Anthony Phillips. Mr. Phillips is charged with count 1, aggravated stalking. He failed to appear for preliminary examination on September the 6th, 2024. And there was a $50,000 cash bond that was set by, I can't read the handwriting, but, oh, Judge Giles.
That's fine.
Okay, may I have your appearances, please, and then Judge McConaughey will take over.
Morning, Judge Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people. Good morning, Ms. Scheib.
Good morning, good morning, Mayor Jessica Scheib on behalf of Mr. Phillips, P number 81798, who is from a reading, understands his constitutional rights and stands guilty.
Not guilty plea will be entered in on behalf of the court. Ask to bond.
Your Honor, as to bond, originally he was given on August 23rd of 24, a $50,000 personal. He then failed to appear, has yet to be seen since then. So the people would have no objection to a $50,000 personal, but with the tether to ensure his appearance, because it's been over 6 months until he's appeared.
Counsel.
Your Honor, no objection to a personal bond, of course. My client indicates he didn't come to court because he's afraid to leave his house because the complaining witness is his neighbor and still harasses him. According to my client, Your Honor, my client is 72, lifelong resident. I believe this is the only capious. He is a veteran from the Navy. He's not working, he receives VA benefits. So respectfully asking the court to consider a personal bond without the tether, since I believe this is his only capious. However, if the court is not inclined to do that without the tether, then we understand, but he was arrested at home yesterday on this warrant, only not because of anything else.
Court haven't heard the arguments of counsel. Court finds that the 50,000 capious bond is an unaffordable bond. In this matter, the court is going to adopt the prosecution's recommendation and reduce the bond to 50,000 personal with the GPS tether, with the 10 p.m. curfew, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and no contact with the complaining witness. Sir, your next hearing will be a Zoom hearing. And then the exam will be in person. You're going to have to come out of the house on that day to come to your court case in person. If there's any issue with your safety concerning the complaining witness, you can please feel free to call the police to make sure that you're safe. But you have to come to court for your preliminary exam. You understand that, sir?
Do I have an attorney?
Yes, you will.
Yes, sir.
You will have an attorney at all of your proceedings, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Everyone have a great
Thank
morning.
You as well.
You too, Brian. Thank you.
You want to
All
move up?
right. Okay, so can we move on to, oh, his dates, I'm sorry, because I'm so used to the judge giving them. June the 20th is his probable cause conference, and June the 26th is his preliminary examination. Both of those matters scheduled before Judge Giles. First one by Zoom, the second one in person. Got it?
Yes, yeah, I got it. Can we go with Jose Ibria?
Oh, okay, hold on. Mr. Hill, they want to get that matter resolved first, okay?
Come on.
Hey, man, to sign it. Okay. They're on, but they weren't responding. I'll try again. Livingston County? They were on very early. Livingston County. So they haven't responded in a while. Okay. So you're gonna bring up Mr. Ibarra?
Is there a Spanish
sorry.
interpreter for Mr. Ibarra?
No, I didn't see anything noted. We weren't aware that one was needed, so I guess we have to pass this matter if one is needed.
Yeah, interpreters needed no English.
Okay, all right then, we have to pass this matter, and we'll recall it. Okay. So can we bring Mr. Shamak?
So,
Right, see?
how would you like? I missed that.
Oh, Mr. Shamak, he is number 14. Imad, last name Shammakh. Mr. Mawad. Good morning, Attorney Mawad.
Yes, good morning, Judge. Good morning. Would you have a Stephen Bradley Hunter on your list for this morning for a CCW?
I don't see that name. This is the final list.
Okay. All right. I check back at 1:30 then.
Okay. Check back at 2:30.
All right. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Judge. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care. Okay, sir, in front of the camera, your name, please. Okay, good morning. Okay, the court is calling case number 2505813-002. The people of the state of Michigan versus Imad Abdul Hazam Shamak. And he is identified as defendant number 2 on this file. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
And good morning, Your Honor. Ryan Hill, P68445 on behalf of Mr. Shamak.
And as to the arraignment.
Wait for me, stand mute, Your Honor.
Okay, he has been advised of his constitutional rights as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Shamak. My recommendation?
People are
Ms.
recommending a 50,000 cash surety with a tether, Your Honor. This defendant is the husband of the complainant. The co-defendant is the brother-in-law. Allegedly, there was an argument between the husband and wife. The allegations are that both defendants broke into the house, that the defendants, their family went upstairs to get in. They threatened to break down the door. She didn't open it. Allegedly, they pushed her into a wall and took her phone. They threatened to kill her if she didn't keep her mouth shut. And both defendants were allegedly hitting her and pulling her hair. There was a note in the APA's file that the defendants had grabbed a knife, and that's the felonious assault, Your Honor, and threatened to kill her. The complainant's 8-year-old daughter was in the house at the time. Allegedly, the husband grabbed and choked his wife. That is count 1, the great bodily harm that he is charged with. There was a note also that the family has been threatening her. She is very scared of both defendants. And for that reason, based on danger, Your Honor, the people are asking for a 50,000 cash surety along with a tether if he's able to make that cash surety bond. And of course, no contact, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Your response, Mr. Hill?
Judge, My client's 31 years old, has 3 children. He has no prior criminal history whatsoever. He's a doctor. He runs 3 dental clinics. And obviously, I have a very different set of facts. I've actually spoken to some witnesses. I will say this to the court. The victim in this case, this is undisputed, has made 2 phone calls to the police. She made 1 phone call. The police came out. She was fine. It was a oral dispute amongst a husband and a wife. Subsequently, there was a second call that was made when the police told her that my client had done nothing wrong. Miraculously, the victim vacates to a upstairs bathroom, comes down with injuries to her face. I've spoken to 3 or 4 witnesses who indicated that the victim, and again, this is all based on statements given from witnesses, obviously, saying that when she emerged from the bathroom, when she realized that the police weren't going to arrest my client originally, she came out from the bathroom with all these injuries, scratches on her face and whatnot. My client lives in Detroit, Your Honor. He's a Wayne State grad. Again, he's a doctor, no prior criminal history. And one thing I'd like to address is the house that they allegedly broke into is my client's house. So I think that's the reason why there's no home invasion. So I would ask the court for a personal bond. I don't think a GPS tether is required, considering my client has 0 history, and the fact that I think it's undisputed that there's been 2 phone calls made from the victim. When she didn't get what she wanted the first time, she called back. And again, from what I've heard, Judge, is that these are self-inflicted injuries to the victim.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Hill, does your client have where else? I know that you're saying it's his house, but the parties were married, and so does your client have somewhere else that he could reside?
Several family members have indicated that he can reside with them while this is pending, Judge.
Okay. And Ms. Coyle, was there any medical treatment that was sought in this matter?
Was there?
Aware of any?
Let me see if I see anything. If you're asking if she went to the hospital,
Yes.
I'm gonna look at her statement and see if anything's in there. Just a moment. It looks like they used, just give me a moment, they used a translator to talk to her. In the phone interview, they did not ask her that question. So I
Okay.
cannot answer that question.
Okay. All right. So based upon the arguments of the parties, the court did have an opportunity to review the investigator's report. There are no priors, and Mr. Shamak has retained counsel, does not have any prior convictions. These are some serious allegations, but the court is not going to set cash bond. The court is, though, going to impose a tether, and the court's going to set a personal bond in the amount of $50,000 with a tether with conditions. Mr. Shamak or Dr. Shamak, you're not to have any contact with your wife, Nadia Shamak, while this matter is pending. You are also not to go to 196, to the location, to your home. I didn't want to put it on the record. Have to go to your home while this matter is pending, unless you have authority from another judge or a court. Okay. Also, sir, you are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Did you understand those 5 conditions? Okay, let me give you your next court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30. That will be before Judge Jakay by Zoom. You also have the right to a preliminary examination, and that is scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. However, that will be in person. Okay, also before Judge Jakay. Anything further, Mr. Hill or Ms. Court?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes this matter.
Take care.
Or shoot, that was
Okay, all right, move on. Okay, we have our Spanish interpreter, and that was on Mr. Barrow. We do have, before Mr. Barrow comes back, how you doing, Miss Montero? They have to bring him back.
Good morning. Okay.
Is Livingston going to chime back in, or did we make any contact with them?
He's right here, I think.
Oh, they're scheduled, okay. No, the jail, Livingston County. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. He said it was scheduled at 11, so he's back though, to hello now. But we need, Mr. Barrow for the Spanish interpreter. Okay, let's do, I told Mr. Clemens we would go to him. Sir, Livingston County is Mr. Holmes, so we'll do Livingston County because they've been on here quite a while. And then Mr. Clemens, I'll get to you.
Judge, I believe Livingston may still need to be interviewed. My colleague should be tuning in momentarily.
Oh, that's right, Ms. Shive, she did, we weren't able to initially connect with them. Okay, then let's keep it moving. Mr. Clemens, step forward. This is Ms. Keys, Ms. Coyle. Okay, ma'am, would you state your name for the record, please?
Sure. Amanda Sherrill Key.
Okay, the court is calling case number 25045409001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Amanda Sherrill Keys. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
May it please the court, Judge, my name is Adam Clinton, appeal number 77233, appearing on behalf of the defendant. Judge, we ask the court to allow her to waive the formal reading of the information that should be allowed to stand you plead not guilty of the
Okay, and Mr. Clemens, has your client also been advised for constitutional rights?
She has, Your Honor. Yes.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Ms. Keys. What is your bond recommendation, Ms. Coyle?
Judge, I'm
Your
asking.
Your Honor,
Go ahead.
the people are, this is a reissue. The original bond was 5,000 personal that got dismissed at a pretrial back in June of 24. So no objection to a 5,000 personal. Of course, no driving, the condition of no driving without a valid license, and of course, no alcohol. Thank you.
Any objection to that recommendation?
No.
Okay, anything else you want to share about your client?
Judge, I just wanted to indicate that this matter was in a pretrial phase beginning in 2023 for approximately 1 year. My client at that particular time was required to test, comply with conditions. She complied with every condition. We showed up on the day of the jury trial. State troopers did not appear, and Judge Bryant dismissed the case. Subsequently, we waited an entire calendar year for this to be reissued. I find that the reissuance and the timing to be a gross inconvenience to my client from a due process perspective. I'm asking the court to issue a personal bond without conditions.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, the court has heard the arguments of the parties. Unfortunately, it does appear it's taken some time to get this matter resolved, albeit it was dismissed and reissued, started originally in 12/18/2022. With that, the court is going to set a $5,000 personal bond for you, Ms. Keys. Thank you for coming in to try to resolve this matter. You have retained good counsel. And while you're on bond, ma'am, you will have a couple of conditions. You may not use any alcohol, and you may not drive without a valid driver's license. Okay, all right. Is there anything further from you, Mr. Clemens?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
How about you, Ms. Coyle?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay, then that concludes this matter.
The pretrial date, Your Honor.
Oh, I could need to give that 6/25 at 8:30, and that will be before Judge Bryant by Zoom, June 25th. Okay, all right, thank you.
And Your Honor, I'm already on the walk-in and Mr. Reagan's gonna go in a breakout room with Livingston.
Okay, all right, give me a minute. Oh, all right.
And we don't need a breakout room with the Spanish interpreter, just for the record.
Okay, great. Okay, all right, so Mr. Reagan, you're gonna go in with
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
okay. Okay. County. 71. Okay, did we get Mr. DDC? We need Mr. Ibarra back. We do, Ms. Shibe, you're going to handle that one?
I'm gonna handle the walk and Ms. Ruther.
Okay, let's do that because they haven't come back on the other one. Okay. Ms. Hooper can step forward. Okay, give us 1 moment to handle this one. Thank you, Ms. Montero. Mr. Barr, we'll be right with you. Okay, she has a ticket, so the court is going to address that first. Ma'am, would you state your name for the record, please?
Geraldine Nicole.
Okay, good morning. All right. Because you failed to appear for a court hearing, there was a bench warrant issued, so I'm going to set that bench warrant aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number SP 1640633 on 11/4/2024. You says you were allowing an unlicensed person to drive and you're charged with no insurance. So you can face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. Court is going to enter not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Sherman. Okay, and then we're gonna hold on to your other matter. Okay, I do need you to restate your name for the record. Okay. Court is calling case number 2504504201. The people of the state of Michigan versus Geraldine Nicole Rupert. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Justice Shibe, on behalf of Ms. Rupert, who is for reading understands her constitutional rights, stands to be the president of the court.
Okay. The court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Ms. Rupert. Your bond recommendation, starting with the people.
But Your Honor, this occurred back in March of 24. I don't see any prior OWIs or anything subsequent to this. This was a one-car crash. She struck the guardrail allegedly and the concrete wall. Her blood alcohol level was over twice the legal limit of 0.178. And she was driving on a suspended license. For this reason, Your Honor, people are recommending a 10,000 personal, no alcohol, and no driving without a valid license.
No objections. Okay, thank you. Then Ms. Rupert, the court will set a $10,000 personal bond, ma'am. While you're on bond, you are not to use any alcohol and you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. Is that understood? Okay. All right, one moment. Okay, you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Jones. Okay. All right, that concludes this matter. Go back to Mr. Ibarra. Okay, who's gonna handle Ibarra? Maybe she's going back to her desk. So, or are you gonna handle that one, Mr. Murad?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you and good morning. Okay, he has a ticket, but let me first ask him, sir, would you state your name? Oh, Miss Montero, let me swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate English to Spanish and Spanish to English?
I do.
Okay, and I guess I should have had your full name for the record. You see it on the screen, but for the record.
Vivian Montero, court interpreter 18369.
Okay, would you ask Mr. Ibarra to state his name for the record?
Señor Salas Ibarra, diga su nombre para que conste en actas.
They're muted.
Oh, yeah, DDC? There they are. Okay, good morning.
He said Jose Salas. Buenos días.
Okay. So he failed to appear for a ticket and there was a bench warrant issued.
Usted tenía una multa, no vino a la audiencia y se emitió una orden de detención.
The court's going to set the bench warrant aside.
El tribunal va a suspender la orden de detención.
Does have the right to an attorney.
Usted tiene el derecho a tener un abogado que le representa.
And if he cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for him.
Y si no puede darse el lujo de contratar un abogado particular, le podemos asignar un abogado de oficio.
Say you through you. He also has the right to remain silent. Anything he says can and will be used against him.
Tiene el derecho de guardar silencio. Cualquier cosa que usted diga puede ser usado en su contra.
Okay. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf.
El tribunal va a aceptar una contestación de no culpable por parte de usted.
Set a personal bond.
Fijar una fianza de bajo palabra.
And the pretrial is scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30 by Zoom.
Y la preconsulta ante el juicio está programado para el 26 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana por Zoom.
And that'll be before Judge Wagner.
Y eso será delante del juez Wagner.
Okay. I need him to restate his name again for the record.
¿Puede decir su nombre nuevamente para las actas, señor?
Jose Salas.
Jose Salas.
Okay. So the last name Salas?
Yes, Your Honor. In Hispanic culture, there are two last names. It should be Salas, and then the paternal last name is first, and then the maternal last name is second.
Okay, thank you. I learned something today. All right. Court is calling case number 2505806201.
El número de caso 2505806201.
The people of the state of Michigan versus Jose Salas Ibarra.
El Ministerio Público versus José Salas Ibarra.
Appearances, please.
Digan sus nombres, todas las participantes para que conste en actas.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Licenciada Lisa Coyle, por parte del Ministerio Público.
Ryan Murad, on behalf of Mr. Ibarra.
Y licenciado Brian Murad, representando al señor Salas Ibarra.
Okay.
Está bien.
We waive reading and stand mute, Judge.
Renunciamos la lectura formal de cargos y guardamos silencio, su señoría.
He's been advised of his rights.
Él ha sido notificado de sus derechos.
Okay, the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Salas Ibarra.
El tribunal va a sentar una contestación de no culpable por parte del señor Salas Ibarra.
Bond recommendation, Ms. Coyle.
La recomendación sobre lo de la fianza, licenciada Coyle.
I am not aware of a criminal history for Mr. Ibarra.
No estoy consciente si señor Ibarra Salas Ibarra tiene antecedentes penales o no.
This is a non-assaultive allegation.
Es una alegación no agresiva.
Thus, no objection to a 5,000 personal.
Por lo tanto, no me opongo a una fianza de 5,000 bajo palabra.
No objection.
No me opongo.
The court will set bond at $5,000 personal.
El tribunal va a fijar la fianza de $5,000 bajo palabra.
While you're on bond, you are not to use any illegal controlled substances.
Señor, mientras usted está libre bajo fianza, no puede consumir sustancias reguladas ilícitas.
You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30 by Zoom.
Tiene una audiencia que se llama por causa probable, programado para el 20 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana por Zoom.
That's before Judge Taylor.
Eso será delante del juez Taylor.
He also has preliminary examination.
También tiene una examinación preliminar.
It's scheduled for June the 25th before Judge Taylor in person.
Y la examinación preliminar está fijado para el 25 de junio, presencial, frente al juez Taylor.
Okay, that's at 8:30 in the 36th District Court.
A las 8:30 de la mañana, presencial en el Tribunal 36 del Tribunal de Distrito.
Okay, if there's nothing further, then that concludes this matter.
Si no hay más por el momento, esto es todo.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. All right, you too, Ms. Mateo. Okay, let's get to Livingston County. Mr. Holmes is there. Is they still on? Oh, did they leave? Oh, are they still in breakout? Let's see. Oh, yeah, let me move to the main session. You ready, Mr. Reagan?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, all right, and then the two individuals, CJC, we'll get to you right after this matter. Okay, Mr. Holmes, good morning. Okay, I need you to restate your name for the record, full name.
Andy Lynn Holmes.
Okay, the court is calling case number 06014001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Anthony Lynn Holmes. Can I have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Philip
Morning,
Reagan,
Mr. Reagan.
appearing on behalf of Mr. Holmes. Good morning, Ms. Coyle. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning to the staff. Well, Judge, we waive the formal reading, stand mute. He's been advised of his rights, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And good morning. The court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Mr. Holmes. Can I have bond recommendation from the people
Your
first?
Honor, this is a 2018 uttering and publishing of a fraudulent check. On this case, Your Honor, no objection to a 5,000 personal.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Holmes, the court will set bond at $5,000 personal. Means you don't have to post any money, sir, but you are required to follow all of your standard conditions of bond. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 27th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Taylor. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for July the 3rd at 8:30. However, that will be in person before Judge Taylor here in the 36th District Court.
Judge, could the file note that Mr. Holmes is sentenced in Livingston County? He is going to be there until June the 30th. So on June 27th, he will still be in custody so that they can make sure they know to zoom back in to Livingston that day, because I do not want him to be capious, Judge.
Okay, and so that will be set until June 30th?
Yep, he'll be in there until June 30th is his out date. June 27th, he will be still locked up.
Okay, all right. I made the note on the file. You know what? I better probably make sure you put it on the, okay. Clerk has indicated she'll follow up, make sure it's in the right places. Okay, then that concludes this matter. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Okay. All right. Then, sir, interview room 11 at CJC.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that's Mr. Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for your patience.
No problem.
Right, let's see, Mr. Miller has some tickets. I'm gonna address the tickets first. So we're done with the Livingston County. Mr. Holmes, have a good one. All right. Court, he has a ticket, and so I'm gonna address that. You failed to appear for a court hearing, Mr. Miller, and there was a bench warrant issued. So I'm gonna set that bench warrant aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number SP 1586723. So you're charged on 8/31/24 with entering a vacant dwelling without permission. So you can face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial on that matter on June the 26th at 8:30. That'll be before Judge Wagner by Zoom. Okay? All right. Now we're gonna move on to your main case. I do need you to restate your name for the record.
Louis Miller.
Okay, thank you. Court is calling case number 250580201. The people of the state of Michigan versus Louis Jerome Miller Jr. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ride Marad, PA 3665, on behalf of Mr. Miller, we waive the formal reading. Mr. Miller stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Okay, the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Miller. My recommendation, Ms. Coyle?
People are recommending a 250,000 cash surety with tether for the following reasons, Your Honor. Right now, he has pending a case in Third Circuit Court before Judge Sharice Anderson. It's a CCW, a converter felony firearm case, in which his bond on that is 100,000 cash surety with a tether, based on the allegations of this case, because that date of offense was after this. That is allegedly the gun that's used in this matter, and that's why the bond is likely to have been set as it was. And so that's why I'm asking for this bond to be also a cash surety with a tether in case that other case falls. But this case is all caught on ring camera video, in which the defendant allegedly with another was driving a stolen Honda, seen circling around the complainant, Ms. Jones' house several times. He's also on camera firing several shots at the house with a handgun. It also shows the co-defendant, who is a juvenile, firing shots at that house as well at the same time. Evidence techs respond to the scene. They locate 15 .45 caliber casings and 3 9mm casings and recover those from the scene. Later, they are arrested at a gas station with that Honda and a .45 Glock. At the gas station, there's a camera as well. It catches the defendant putting the gun on a shelf. That is also a stolen Glock 45. He's also seen as the same clothing as in the home surveillance footage. There are boxes of ammunition found in the car. He also has a failure to appear out of the 33rd District Court of Woodhaven for possession of burglar tools. That was from November 12th of 24. His criminal history, he's all of 20 years old. His criminal history right now, he's currently on HIDA status out of Saginaw for a felonious assault, CCW, possession of a weapon in a school zone. He's on probation currently till July 30th of 26. People believe, based on the allegations and based on the pending matters, not only is he a danger, but he is a flight risk. And for that reason, we're asking for that $250,000 cash surety. Of course, no contact with any of the complainant or any witnesses. And I'm also asking for a tether, based on the other case being a CCW, in case that case falls, that there's a tether in place on this matter. Thank you.
Okay, your response, Mr. Murad?
Judge, ultimately, I'm asking that whatever bond that you set obviously be proportionate to the charges. On this complaint, the maximum possible penalty is a 10-year. Obviously, I'm not making light of the allegations, but certain points I think that mitigate these circumstances is the fact that this has allegedly happened when nobody was home. As you notice, although discharge at a building is a very serious charge, it's not an assaultive component. It doesn't involve an imminent apprehension of fear due to nobody being home. So technically, he's not charged with anything assaultive. Now, again, I'm not mitigating the circumstances of the charge of discharging at a building, but this isn't a case where somebody was injured. This isn't a case where, somebody was put in fear of their life. And I think both cases, there's not an assaultive charge. The only assaultive charge I heard was that he's on probation for an FA, and he still has his HIDA status. So, realistically, it's going to be hard for me to convince you to just set a personal bond here because there's a lot going on. But I do think that the court should be setting maybe a 10% provision with tether. Obviously, he's been on that 100,000 cash since March. He's been in Wayne County for 90 days, has not been able to post that bond. On that charge, it doesn't sound like there's any assaultive components either. Is there, a need for maybe some supervision? Hold on, Mr. Miller. Just hold on. Let me finish. Is there a need for some supervision? Absolutely. We can do a GPS tether. We can do any sort of supervision that the court wants to do. But ultimately, he's 21 years old. He does have that HIDA conviction that Ms. Coyle, well, technically it's not a conviction, but he's on HIDA probation for the FA. So that's serious. It looks like that this case and the other case that he's on bond for now were sort of intertwined, as Ms. Coyle alluded to. And he's been sitting on that anyway. So, if the court is going to set a high cash bond, I don't see a need to exceed the cash bond that was already set in the other matter. But ultimately, Judge, I'd ask for a reasonable bond, maybe a 10% provision with a tether. We have to understand that this is a 10-year max, that puts his guidelines in a lower range. And it's not like he committed this offense while out on bond. You can tell that, this warrant was just signed yesterday or 2 days ago. So with all that, Your Honor, it is serious. The allegations described here are not good. But when it comes to setting bond, I think a fair bond here would be a 10% provision, if not personal, with GPS tether. I would just ask whatever the court does, that it not exceed that 100,000 cash bond, because I think he still has a right to a reasonable bond. Obviously, it's been 90 days and he hasn't posted.
Okay, thank you. All right, then the court has had an opportunity to review the investigator's report and listen to the arguments of counsel. Mr. Miller, there's a lot going on, and your attorney nailed it. You have cases not only in Wayne County, but in Saginaw. You have a matter in Third Circuit, as well as this matter pending in the 36th District Court. Looks like there's some connection in terms of the weapon charge that you're on that one. And this.
So if you're going to
No,
talk,
oh.
I may interrupt you if I think you're going to say something that's going to be bad for you, but I think you should let the magistrate finish what she was saying. And then after, I'm sure she's going to give you an opportunity to say whatever you think I may have missed.
Okay. All right, Mr. Miller. And so in the court, I'm just going to address what's going on as it relates to setting your bond right now. If you have some defenses or something to say about the facts of your case, you probably should listen to your attorney and not speak regarding that matter. But if you have any concerns relating the conditions I'm going to impose or your court dates, I will be happy to address those. Okay. With that, the court, having heard the arguments, does find that Mr. Miller poses clear and convincing evidence poses a danger to the community. The court is going to set a $75,000 cash surety bond, impose a tether. So if you post that bond, then you'll be under house arrest, Mr. Miller. You do have another matter that's pending, and there'll probably be some sort of action taken in Saginaw as it relates to these current charges. But right now, as it stands before me, is this case, and I'm going to impose that bond. Okay, for bond conditions, you may not possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You have a probable cause hearing that's scheduled for June the 20th. That will be before Judge Jefferson by Zoom. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 27th at 8:30. However, that will be in person before Judge Jefferson here in the 36th District Court. Now, do you understand your bond conditions and your court dates?
Yes, ma'am. And Your Honor, for the record,
Wait 1 second. Right before you do, my friend Judge, could we just get that redetermination date?
Yes. All right. I'm assuming that bond is unaffordable. So there'll be a bond redetermination hearing scheduled for Monday. That will be the 16th, 6/16 at 9 a.m. before Judge McConicle or Judge Williams. Okay. All right. Did you want to address your client, Mr. Murad?
Go ahead, Mr. Miller, but if I cut you off, stop talking.
Okay, yes, sir. Your Honor, I just wanted to say, since I've been locked up, I've had that allegation hanging over me. That's why my bond was set so high on the case I'm going through now. When I went to court, I believe that was Tuesday, that case was going to get resolved. So my lawyer, I'm under the impression that I was told that if they finally charged me with this, that this new charge, whatever it is going to be merged. They're basically going to wait until this case catches up with that case. But Your Honor, I've been sitting here this is my third.
So Mr. Miller, your attorney will have another opportunity on Monday to address the bond issue. Also, if there's some sort of global resolution, which it sounds like you're speaking, this is just an arraignment. I'm not here to determine your guilt or innocence, okay? Just arraigning you and setting the bond. So certainly your attorney, if the matter reaches the circuit court, if it's over here, it doesn't matter. Your attorney at every stage can address the issue of bond, okay? But that right now, that's how it stands. Okay, all right, that concludes this matter. Thank you. All right, now, sir, we have, is that Mr. Burney? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bernie, for your patience. Hold on a moment.
No problem.
Okay. And you too, Deputy. Thank you. Okay. All right, Mr. Bernie, I need you to state your full name for the record, please.
Waddell Pooh Bernie Jr.
All right, court is calling case number 25057-26801. The people of the state of Michigan versus Waddell Pooh Bernie Jr. May I have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Murad, PA 3665, on behalf of Mr. Bernie, we waive the reading and stand mute. Mr. Bernie's been advised of his rights.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Bernie. Ms. Coyle, by recommendation.
People are recommending a remand in this matter, Your Honor. Currently, he has pending a home invasion first, felonious assault, felon in possession or protected person, felony firearm, domestic violence. His bond was set at $50,000 cash surety with a tether on June 10th. 2 days later, that bond went to redetermination, and it was continued by Judge McConico. The date of offense of that matter was March 24 of 25. The date of offense of this matter is June 9th of 25. This case involves a carjacking as well as an armed robbery. Allegedly that the defendant and the complainant were conversing in front of a liquor store. Another man was introduced to the complainant by the defendant. That man grabbed the glasses off which were Cartier glasses off the complainant's face. The defendant allegedly told the other man to get his keys, wallet, and car. Both men were armed with guns in their waistbands, displayed those waistbands, and showed the gun, and then took the items by force. They were taking items from the complainant's pocket. This is all on video. Also, at the time, it does note in the IR, the complainant was intoxicated, so they took advantage of a man that had been drinking. This, like I said, it's all on video. Then they took the man's car. They took not only the keys, his glasses, his other items. They tracked that car through OnStar. Officers see that car. They yell to the defendant. The defendant then fled from the police, hopping over fences on foot. And then he eventually, obviously, is caught. That the getaway car, the Jeep that he had come in, was found also on the defendant. The Cartier glasses were found on the defendant. The complainant picked the defendant out of a photo show, and the defendant identified himself as the person at the liquor store. He claimed that the complainant dropped his glasses and he picked them up and he just didn't give them back. I also do know that not only does he have that pending felony assaultive case with a gun, he also is currently on probation out of the 46th District Court for aggravated domestic violence. It's a different female in that case than the home invasion, felonious assault, domestic violence case. So for these, he has two pending right now, a probation for an assaultive matter. He's got also a pending felony for an assaultive matter. And now he's on a carjacking allegation, armed robbery, Your Honor. For these reasons, Your Honor, the people believe he is a danger to the community as well as a flight risk, because in this matter, he ran from the police. So for those reasons, people are requesting a remand. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Murad, your response, please.
Judge, when I first looked at this complaint, I noticed one charge that I think is usually missing. And that's probably the biggest component in these type of cases, and that's the felony firearm charge. I don't believe that there's sufficient evidence to prove that this is an armed robbery that's contained in this report. Is there maybe sufficient for an unarmed robbery? Maybe, based on the allegations that are contained in here. But we have to remember that these allegations are coming from somebody who's intoxicated. We don't know the level of this person's intoxication. I think the people alluded that it may have been so intoxicated to the point where they could be taken advantage of. And I know that the store clerk, according to this report, called the police based on that intoxicated complainant making some kind of disturbance. We're talking a lot about this video, and I read how it's sort of transcribed in the report. But the one thing that I think is missing here to support the charges of armed robbery and the carjacking is the gun. Now, there's a statement that from the intoxicated complainant that a gun was in his waistband. As you can see that it doesn't appear that the firearm was ever recovered in this case, and it doesn't appear, and I could be mistaken. I know Ms. Coyle will correct me if I am, but it doesn't appear that, based on my reading, that these firearms were observed on video either. And I know that, again, if I'm mistaken, Ms. Coyle will correct me, but that takes this from these serious carjacking and life offenses here to 15-year offenses, if they're true. I can't dispute the pending cases, right? They are what they are. He's on a cash bond. Again, I don't see the court setting a personal bond here, but similar to my last argument, I do think he should have the right to a reasonable bond, especially because I think that there's some holes that can be poked in this case, especially to the most serious charges. Now, Mr. Burney does have a stable residence with his mother. He has 2 children here in the city of Detroit. He was gainfully employed, obviously, before his arrest, but he was doing some home improvement work. He's a high school graduate. He can't post any money, Judge. I'm asking you not to remand him. I'm asking you to set some kind of bond that you feel is most appropriate, given the, what I would consider to be potential holes in the case. I do understand how it got signed, but I do think with, the absence of the recovery of that firearm, the absence of the video showing the firearm, and we're relying on an intoxicated person's statement about a firearm, I think there's definitely holes. But nonetheless, Your Honor, I know that there's a lot going on here. I get it, but I'm asking the court to set a reasonable bond and not to remand Mr. Burney. I do believe he should have his right to a reasonable bond.
Your Honor, briefly,
Okay,
if I may
you.
just say that usually the defense doesn't complain that the prosecutor exercised the discretion when a firearm was not recovered to not attach the felony firearm. But this is a matter in which he's already charged with 2 life offenses. He does have a prior UTA under Holmes Youthful Training Act. I don't, I don't think we're trying the case here. That's not what this is for. This is for flight and danger to the community based on the allegations, and whether the charges are correct or not, that goes to exam and trial level. So it's a nice dissertation, nice closing argument, Mr. Moran, but that's not what we're looking here for. So that's why I believe, based on these allegations, Your Honor, would bring it back, is that based on the allegations and the fact that it is on video, it does present a good possibility, it's probable cause to go forward, and that he does present a danger to the community. Thank you.
And Judge,
Okay,
my
thank you
final
both.
response would just be that likelihood of conviction obviously goes to one of the factors. That's all.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. All right, then the court reviewed the complaint, and there's a carjacking and armed robbery. There's no felony firearm charge. I don't know why. Certainly it's up to the prosecutor to exercise whatever level of discretion they want as far as rendering charges or issuing charges. And while Ms. Coyles indicated this matter was on video, I'm certain if that weapon was captured, it would probably have been on video, but maybe not. If it was in someone's waistband, I don't know. But those were the allegations by the complaining witness. Whether or not he was intoxicated is not a factor. Nobody still has a right to take your property, whether you're drinking or not. And so, Mr. Burney, the court does find that by clear and convincing evidence that you pose a danger to the community. The court is not going to issue a remand, however, but the court is going to set a cash surety bond at $100,000, because you do have other matters that are pending assuming this other one is in the Third Circuit Court, the FA home invasion matter. Ms. Coyle.
I think he just got the redetermination on that.
He did.
So
He went to redetermination.
Oh, he just got. Oh, okay. All right then. So the court again is going to set bond. These are a little more serious charges than before. A tether was imposed in that matter. The court is also going to impose a tether in this matter as well. So, because I don't know what will happen to that particular case since it hasn't gone to exam. All right then. while you're on, or while this matter is pending, Mr. Bernie, sir, you may not possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. And you may not have any contact with Anthony Thomas. So you understand those bond conditions, sir?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna give you your court date. First, your attorney's indicated that bond is unaffordable, so you have a bond redetermination hearing. That'll be scheduled for Monday, June 16th at 9:00 a.m. And that will be before Judge McConigal or Judge Williams in the 36th District Court. You also have a probable cause conference for June the 20th at 8:30. That'll be before Judge Giles by Zoom. And there's a preliminary examination, which you have a right to schedule for June the 26th at 8:30. That will be in person. Okay. I don't know if I indicated, but while you're on bond, you're not to possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons. All right, that concludes this matter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me sign it because it's a special way I have to sign this form, so hold on. What the court? Yeah, the conditions. Okay, DDC female side is here. Nothing there. Okay, sir, you walk by. Sir? Oh, we switched over. How are you, ma'am? Okay, your name? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last name. The last name? King. Oh, okay, hold on. So, all right, did you see males took a break, so we're gonna move to the female side. All right, good morning, Ms. King. Court is calling case number 250-579-0101. The people of the state of Michigan versus Monique Latresa King. Can I have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Ryan Murad, PA 3665, on behalf of Ms. Monique King, we waive the formal reading and stand mute. Ms. King's been advised of her constitutional rights.
Okay, then thank you. The court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Mr. King, Ms. King, and by recommendation, Ms. Coyle.
I see Ms. King is around 56 years old with no criminal history. People would be requesting a $15,000 personal, no contact with complainant.
Judge, I'd ask you to adopt Ms. Coyle's recommendation.
All right, then. The court will set bond for you, Ms. King, at $15,000 personal. While you're on bond, you are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon, and you're not to have any contact with a Cassandra Truelove. Is that understood, ma'am? Okay, then you have two court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. You also have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 20th. That will be in person before Judge Jefferson here in the 36th District Court. All right, you understand your bond conditions and your next court date? Ma'am, you understand your bond conditions and your next court date?
Sorry, it's vibrating in the room and I'm having a hard time understanding.
Okay. All right. You have a court date of June the 20th. That's your probable cause conference. Be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. And then you have the right to a preliminary exam. That's on June the 26th at 8:30. That one will be in person before Judge Jefferson in the 36th District Court. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you. All right. You're welcome. Okay, ma'am, your name, please.
Paula Jackson Underwood.
Okay, one moment.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Good morning, Miss Underwood. The court is calling case number 03-0589-2201. The people of the state of Michigan versus Paula Yvette Jackson Underwood. Appearances, please.
Mr. Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Brad Murad, P83665, on behalf of Ms. Jackson Underwood. We waive the reading and stand mute. Ms. Underwood's been advised of her rights.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Ms. Underwood. My recommendation, Ms. Coyle.
Your Honor, the people recommend a 1,000 personal bond. This is an A and B that I don't see an arraignment on since 2003.
No objection.
Okay. All right, Ms. Jackson Underwood, the court's gonna set $1,000 personal bond. That means you don't have to post any money. I understand it's a very old case, but you do have a condition for no contact with Joanne Abram, okay? All right, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That will be before Judge Bryant by Zoom, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then that concludes this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. That was 16. No, that's not Underwood. Did her already. Okay, ma'am, your name, please? Look, everything on all the ladies. Okay. Okay, last name is? Ma'am, your last name, please. Stay loud, stay loudly. Hayes, okay. All right, thank you. Good morning. All right, court is calling case number 250-454-7001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Desiree Hayes. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Brad Murad, P83665, on behalf of Ms. Hayes. We waive the reading and stand mute. Ms. Hayes has been advised of her constitutional rights.
Okay, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Hayes. Ms. Coyle, by recommendation.
Your Honor, this is a two-defendant case. She's just charged with the assault and battery. The co-defendant, I had the gun, so those charges are forthcoming. This is in which the complainant is Mr. Nevels, is her 63-year-old grandfather. She allegedly slapped him in the face, but what's troubling in this matter, Your Honor, she threatened to kill the complainant and both police officers. I don't see a criminal history for her, but I did see that the other co-defendant is her boyfriend. And this just occurred 3 days ago. So for that reason, Your Honor, the people are asking for a $5,000 cash surety with a tether with no contact with her grandfather.
Mr. Rod, your response, please.
Your Honor, you know, the jail is probably the scariest place in the world for a 21-year-old girl like Miss Hayes. She's spent 3 days in there based on these allegations alone that she's presumed innocent of. I'm not aware of any other issues. She's a high school graduate. We can do a no contact order with anyone the court feels comfortable to. But I think with these cases, you know, there's usually, you know, a presumption of some type of probation, even if found guilty. I don't want to keep her in the jail any longer than she's already spent. I think that's been enough of a deterrence effect to ensure that she's going to comply with all of your orders. For all those reasons, Your Honor, given she's also a young mother of two, I'd ask the court to consider personal bond and no contact.
Your Honor, I do see they, like on the IR, that they live at the same residence.
I wouldn't object to having Ms. Hayes.
A condition she's not there. Well,
Okay, so,
No objection.
so Ms. Hayes, ma'am, you cannot go to the Oakfield location. You understand that?
Yeah.
All right, so the court, and then let's see what other conditions. You are not to have any contact with Mark Nevels. That's your grandfather. So while this matter is pending, no contact. The court is not going to set a cash surety bond. The court is going to set a personal bond in the amount of $5,000. I believe I read where he had, the complaining witnesses said he had told her not to come by there, and then there was some allegations that some harm might come to him. So the court is going to impose a tether. And it's just no location tether. Not.
Judge, is there anything I can convince the court of to not impose that tether so she doesn't have to sit the weekend in the jail? She was, I think, in the process of moving out. I'm sorry.
my understanding is when they get a personal bond, they are first in line for the tethers and they move them out immediately.
And I've never seen a tether issued within a day or two. It's usually at least 3 days. In my experience, I could be mistaken.
I called the jail.
I've never seen it.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So the court is not going to change that, Mr. Murad. So that's the way it stands. All right, she has a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Jones. Okay, that concludes this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so what happened? Did he see the male side just put on?
I think they heard that we're just gonna do all personals and call it quits, Your Honor.
No,
I didn't hear that. I think you hear stuff, Mr. Murad. You're hearing what you want to hear, I guess. Okay, ma'am, your name, please. Is it Robinson or Flood? I can't hear as well. Flood, okay, all right. It's still morning. Good morning. All right, Ms. Flood has a ticket, so I'm going to address that first. Ms. Flood, you failed to appear for a court hearing, and there was a bench warrant that was issued. So I'm going to set that bench warrant aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number SP 1568255. On 3/29/24, says you're charged with driver's license never acquired. Okay, you can face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. Court is gonna enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 27th at 8:30 before Judge Williams by Zoom, okay? Now, would you restate your name for the record, please? Okay, thank you. Court is calling case number 250-454-6901. The people of the state of Michigan versus Laish Tonita Flood. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Murad, P 3665 on behalf of Ms. Flood. We waive the reading and stand mute. Ms. Flood's been advised of her rights.
Thank you. The court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Flood. Ms. Coyle, is there a recommendation from the people?
Recommending, I do not see any criminal history for Ms. Flood. Recommending a 10,000 personal, no contact with Mr. Emmanuel.
No objection.
Okay. All right, Ms. Flood, the court, I'm gonna set a $5,000 personal bond. And so, ma'am, you see how as far as things might spiral out of control, $250 turns into $5,000. That's a personal bond. You don't have to post any money, but while you're on bond, you're not to have any contact with Emmanuel Thomas. Is that understood? Okay. All right, you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Bryant. And that concludes this matter. Okay, that must be Miss Robinson. Ma'am? Good afternoon, your name, please?
I don't have her.
Is your last name Robinson? Okay. All right, she has a ticket. So Ms. Robinson, because you failed to appear for a court hearing, there was a bench warrant issued. So I'm gonna set that bench warrant aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. If you could not afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number PSP 1180690. On 3/29/2021, you're charged with no insurance. That's a charge in which you could face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. This court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Sherman, okay? Now, can I ask you to restate your name for the record?
Peter Robinson.
Okay, the court is calling case number 22045199501. The people of the state of Michigan versus Laquita Danielle Robinson. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle, appearing on behalf of the people.
Celebrating on behalf of Ms. Robinson, Your Honor, waive the reading, stand mute. She's been advised of the rights.
Court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Robinson. The people have a bond recommendation.
Your Honor, this case dates back to April of 21. Although serious, it is a misdemeanor. So I do see she has a pending fleeing and elude. She pled guilty yesterday on that fleeing elude in front of Judge Bridget Hathaway. She did have a failure to appear on that matter. She was arraigned on it yesterday, and she has a sentence date for July. So based on that failure to appear, Your Honor, I saw the bond was still set at 5,000 personal on that matter. So at this point, Your Honor, people are asking for a personal bond on the stalking with the conditions of no contact whatsoever with, even though it's an older case, Ms. Hackney. Thank you.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then the court will set a $5,000 personal bond for you, Ms. Robinson. It means you don't have to post any money to get out. However, while you're on bond, you're not to have any contact with LaShonda Hackney, and you're not to go to the Wabash Street location. Is that understood? All right, then you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Jones. Okay, that concludes this matter. We've got quite a few males.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, your name. You're welcome. Sir, your name, please.
Oh, Terrence Allen Frazier Jr.
Terrence Frazier. Okay, all right, good afternoon. Mr. Frazier has some tickets. I'm gonna address those first. Mr. Frazier, because you failed to appear for some court hearings, there were bench warrants that were issued. The court's gonna set those bench warrants aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number SP 1222073-71421. You're charged with driving a license is not valid. Ticket number SP 1347193-5422. You're charged with driving a license suspended and no insurance. Ticket number SP 1258973-10621. You're charged with driving with license suspended. And ticket number SP 1411327-12222. You're charged with driving an unregistered vehicle, no insurance, and failing to display a valid operator's license. So, Mr. Frazier, for those charges, you can face up to 93 days in jail and/or receive a fine in the amount of $500. The court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf and set a personal bond. You have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 27th at 8:30. That'll be before Judge Williams by Zoom. Okay? Can you restate your name again for the record?
Terrence Allen Frazier Jr.
Okay, the court is calling case number 2505-755202. The people of the state of Michigan versus Terrence Allen Frazier Jr. Can I have your appearances, please?
Mr. Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ride Marad P83665 on behalf of Mr. Frazier. We waive the formal reading and stand mute. Mr. Frazier has been advised of his rights.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Frazier. Upon recommendation from the people.
This was a search warrant execution. Drugs and a gun were found in packaging materials, other indicia of sales. I do not see a criminal history that I am aware of for Mr. Frazier. No, and since this is non-assaultive, no objection to a 15,000 personal.
No objection.
All right, hearing no objection from the people, from the defense, the court will set a $15,000 personal bond. And Mr. Frazier, sir, while you're on bond, you're not to use any illegal controlled substances, and you're not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have two court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 23rd at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Giles. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 30th at 8:30. However, that will be in person before Judge Giles in the 36th District Court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then. Thank you. That concludes this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Oh, his bond was 15,000 personal. I think he. We got Phillips, so. Additions. Okay, so your name, please.
Coleman.
Coleman, okay. All right, good afternoon. Mr. Coleman has some tickets. I'll address those first. Mr. Coleman, because you failed to appear for a couple of court, one court hearing, there was a bench warrant that was issued. So I'm going to set that bench warrant aside. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Court is calling ticket number U 452094-18. Allege that you entered without owner's permission. So for that charge, you could face up to 93 days in jail and or receive a fine in the amount of $500. Court is going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, set a personal bond, and you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Kennedy, okay? Okay, can I have you restate your name for the record, please? All right. Court is calling case number 190-448-1401. The people of the state of Michigan versus Christopher Michael Coleman. Can I have your appearances, please?
Lisa Coyle.
Oh, don't
appearing on-
leave. That was just the tickets. Now we moving on to your main case, okay? All right, just be patient.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Murad, PA 3665. On behalf of Mr. Coleman, we waive the formal reading and stand mute. He's been advised of his rights.
Okay, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Coleman. And before the parties argued, there was a $500 cash bond set with GPS tether on September the 24th by Judge Austin Garrett because he failed to appear for a final pretrial. Listen to arguments for the people first.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people. Your Honor, I noted 2 failure to appears on this matter. This is back from 2019, but based on the fact that he was also in court on, it looks like September of 24. So for that matter, people have no objection to converting the cash to a personal, but I would ask for the tether to remain.
Judge, that's a very fair recommendation. It's hard for me to argue against it. Ultimately, I know Mr. Coleman wants to ask for a straight personal. He's gainfully employed, working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at True Green. They actually do my grass too. You guys do a great job, Mr. Coleman. He's 32 years old. He's been in the city his whole life. I understand the recommendation. I really don't have an objection to it. Our request is for just the personal.
Okay, thank you. All right, then, Mr. Coleman, the court will set bond at $500 personal, but the court, because you failed to appear on a couple of occasions, the court is going to impose a GPS tether. With that, you have a pretrial that's scheduled for June the 25th at 8:30. That'll be before Judge Garrett. That'll be in person. So you have to come to the courthouse. You have to come to the 36th District Court. You cannot have any weapons, purchase or possess any weapons, or have any contact with Sharday Covington. Okay? All right, then that concludes this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Coyle.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
Marlo Booth.
Okay, one moment. Thank you. Right. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Bully. Court is calling case number 22-0603-5401. People of the state of Michigan versus Marlo Johnson Bully. Appearances, please. You're on mute, Ms. Coyle.
I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. Okay, Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Moran, PA 3665. On behalf of Mr. Bully, we waive the reading. Mr. Bully stands mute. He's been advised of his rights.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of you, Mr. Bully. And I'll take a recommendation for bond from the people first.
Your Honor, this is a September of 21 case, not signed until 22. It's non-assaultive. People have no objection to a personal bond in this matter.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, hold on. All right, then the court will set a $5,000 personal bond And Mr. Bully, sir, while you're on bond, well, no special conditions. You do have standard conditions, but you have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30. That'll be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. Then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. However, that will be in person before Judge Jefferson in the 36th District Court. Okay, you understand your court dates? All right, then that concludes this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, sir, good afternoon. Your name, please.
Crosswhite, good afternoon.
Mr. Crosswell, I'm okay, sir. How are you?
I've been better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You walked into that one, huh, Judge?
All right then. Okay, the court is calling case number 250-581-2901. The people of the state of Michigan versus Joseph William Cross White. Appearances, please.
Oil appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Marab, P83665, on behalf of Mr. Crosswhite, we waive the formal reading and stand mute. Mr. Crosswhite's been advised of his rights.
Enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Crosswhite and take a bar recommendation from Ms. Coyle.
My recommendation is, Your Honor, he is currently on probation. He just pled guilty for attempt fleeing elude 4, the same thing that he's charged with here. He just pled guilty and was sentenced on March 10th of 25. His bond in that matter was 1,010%. He's on a 2-year probation. So the other convictions I see for him is a 2012 CCW as a juvenile, 2016 felony firearm. Based on this case, Your Honor, this was a traffic stop that was attempted. He fled in his car and then he later fled on foot once abandoning the car. Based on the fact that he's on probation for the same thing, that he continues to flee, the people would be asking for the number one, not objecting to a personal, but I'm asking for a tether. It does not have to be a restricted tether, but I'm asking for the condition of no driving as well.
Judge, I'm so sorry. I made a grave mistake and was looking at the wrong sheet. It looks like Mr. Crosswhite has actually not been interviewed with our office yet. I apologize. I know that may delay us a bit, but is there any way we can put him in a brief breakout room with Mr. Reagan or maybe recall him after we do the last one?
I sure can.
I apologize. We have Mr. Joseph Crosswhite.
Oh, we did, Mr. Crosswhite. That's, oh, you said, can you have? Yeah, that's what
we did, Mr. Crosswhite.
I'm going to put him in the breakout room, but I guess they have to go to,
I'm sorry.
Put him on camera
I didn't think he was in the DDC because he's like the first one on the list, one on the list, and nobody caught him to the camera at all morning. I
know, but so give me a minute because I need to find out how we're going to do a breakout room with. They got the camera 2 free.
You can put me in there, Judge. Put me in the camera 2 in the breakout room. We're good.
If you want, Judge, I mean, we got 2 left. One's an identity theft, one's a CCW. If you guys want to just knock those out, and then we can free up this camera for DDC.
Okay, if you want to be patient, Mr. Reagan, because I don't know if they're going to be able to get him around to 2.
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here.
Okay, all right. Then thank you. Sir, can I have your name, please? You have to speak up.
Here you go.
Oh, man, I would say you go.
Last name, okay, all right. Good afternoon. The court is calling case number 25058134001. The people of the state of Michigan versus Tadario Jarrell Payne. Appearances, please.
Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
And Ryan Murad, P83665, on behalf of Mr. Payne. We waive the reading and stand mute. Mr. Payne's been advised of his rights.
Okay, and the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Payne. And is there A recommendation from the people?
People recommend 5,000 personal. I don't see a criminal history for Mr. Payne. He's 19 years old. This is not assaultive.
No objection.
Okay, the court will set a $5,000 personal bond for you, Mr. Payne. Sir, means that you don't have to post any money to get out. But while you're in bond, you're not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. No guns, okay? All right. Then you have 2 court dates. You have a probable cause conference that's scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Robbins. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. If you exercise that right, it will be held on June the 27th at 8:30 before Judge Jefferson, a different judge, okay? And that's also at 8:30. You understand your bond conditions and your court dates? All right, then that concludes this matter. Have a good day. All right, so the last one we have is Polito. All right, good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Diaz.
Okay. The court is calling case number 1-805553101. The people of the state of Michigan versus Lionel Diaz Polito. Appearances, please.
Well, appearing on behalf of the people.
Brad Murad, P83665. On behalf of Mr. Diaz-Polito, we waive the reading, stand mute. Mr. Diaz-Polito's been advised of his rights.
All right, then the court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Diaz-Polito. Am I looking at these dates right? 2009, 2010?
Statute of limitations
Okay.
issue, Judge.
Well, that's a defense for sure, but you know, I'm not here to decide that. Ms. Coyle.
This is from February of 2009. He's never been arraigned. No objection to personal.
No objection.
All right. Okay, then the court will set. $1,000 personal bond. Mr. Diaz-Polito. So he has no special conditions. Are there any names? No contact or so old, you don't worry about it, Miss Coyle.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. All right, then let me give you the court date. You have a probable cause conference scheduled for June the 20th at 8:30. That will be by Zoom before Judge Jefferson. And then you have the right to a preliminary examination. That's scheduled for June the 26th at 8:30. That will be in person before Judge Jefferson here in the 36th District Court. Is that understood, sir?
Yes.
Okay, all right, then that concludes this matter. Have a great day. All right, so now can we get Mr. Crosswhite back and then we'll put him in the breakout room. Is Mr. Reagan
Happy
gonna still
Friday.
handle that?
If he's not on, Judge, I'll do the breakout, but if he's on, we can put him in.